Hello, beautiful souls, dear hearts, initiates of the Sacred Heart. My name is Monica Bermudez. I'm an intuitive quantum energy healer, and I am here for another weekly love wisdom of the heart, of the Sacred Heart message. And so in this message, I want to talk about the lotus flower and the symbolism and our ascension and how they associate with each other, how it relates to this full moon this week, that we find ourselves at the energy of the Capricorn moon and the zodiac sign of Cancer. So the combination of these two energies is really interesting, and it's also known as a strawberry full moon because normally it is a full moon being the last of spring's full moon, but in this case we ended up getting the full moon after the solstice, which means it's the beginning of summer of the cycle for the northern hemisphere, but for the southern hemisphere it is the winter, of course. So it's all just cycles, and the energies this week are about coming together. Cancer is all about stability and family. Capricorn is a little more resilient and about strength. So these are interesting combinations of energies. And when we look at it from the lotus flower, if you're not familiar with the lotus flower, it actually, when you look at it, it grows on top of the mud or the muddy water, and it's able to still look like such a beautiful flower even in the midst of all the mud. So it's just very symbolical and magical, because that is a symbolism that I'm feeling that right now that we're going through, with all this shedding, of all this releasing going on with the energies of these full moon. And these last full moons have been very powerful because they've been super moon, meaning that they are closer to the Earth's proximity, which increases the energy of the full moon at a much bigger rate. When it's a full moon, it's usually about releasing and letting go and cutting cords, and just also getting that clarity to step, removing those sabotaging beliefs and those limiting beliefs, which are patterns. And the more that we remove them, the more clarity we get visually of what is coming. And so I feel that these last few months there has been tremendous amount of shifts, and not only are these full moons by themselves powerful, but there's also other energy forces at work. There have been portals that have been opening up as well in the universe that have been increasing the amount of photonic light, quantum energy that is entering into our Earth's atmosphere and penetrating our cells, our DNA, and activating other certain parts of our DNA codes that haven't been activated yet. And these are some form of energy codes that are meant to be arriving at this time because we are ready for this. And that is what we call the Ascension. We're going into this energetic expansion of ourselves, meaning that our soul, our higher self, and also known as the oversoul, is coming more into our body. And as we are increasing more of this light energy field frequency, that we are able to hold more light in our physical body, in our cells. And the more light that we're able to hold, the more we're able to ascend into connecting with our higher self the way we're meant to be. So as such, it's not an easy process, of course, because stuff will come up, and this full moon has definitely been very emotional. So any little thing could trigger some form of either you want to cry or just get like really tension, like really high tension or frustration. And so that's really what this moon is doing, is bringing up certain emotions. And also because Cancer is a very sensitive sign, and it is also an emotional sign as well. And so when these things happen, it is meant for us to really take note of them, become aware of them, that they're there. That's the first step, is having that conscious awareness in them. And then from having that consciousness, then you're able to really do something about it with your own willpower. But if we are in a state of denial, then we're always going to be in this state of being asleep and doing things at a subconscious level. And these patterns are just going to keep repeating themselves until we're able to really pay attention to them, that they're there. So there's much movement going on with the energies. So with the lotus flower, we are like the lotus flower, right? Because we're going through our own trials and tribulations in life and learning from each one of those trials and those mistakes and errors as being humans and living in this world of duality, which is of shadow and light. And we are composed of both the shadow and the light. And the key is learning how to balance those two energies inside of us. So the lotus flower, you could say, has mastered that balance and is able to dwell on top of the muddy water and still look brilliant and beautiful and shining. And that's exactly what this energy is telling us, that despite of what's going on, you can still be in that joy vibration and still look like that lotus flower. And of course, like I said, it's not an easy process, right? And I've been through it myself, through the most intense dark night of the soul and all the process of it that went on. So I share these messages because, for one, I also, wish you the best in everything that you're doing, and that you're able to expand and grow with these energies and take advantage of the energies that we are being presented with. So for these full moons, definitely use the time to do some kind of ritualistic form or ceremony of releasing and letting go of things that no longer serve you, patterns that have been holding you back from being the greatness that you already are, blocking you from your true self, of your own essence, of your own soul. Because you already are, your soul is already very pure and it's powerful and it's a creative force of energy. And if there's some form of doubt or fear that's coming up, that's also another form of this moon energy that's bringing up those things that are shining some form of light onto them so that they are seen now. And as painful as it may be to confront them and do something about them, to allow yourself to be liberated so that you're able to step into the next level, or up level yourself, upgrade yourself to be that 2.0 version that you're meant to be. So definitely, the first step is becoming aware of those, whatever is coming up for you at this time. The second step is to really take note of them or journal and write down from there what it is that you wish to transmute, release, and let go. And the third step is to really do some form of work, energy work, that is, within yourself to release it, whether that be through meditation or some form of affirmation, changing the mindset, and just really being able to transmute it. And lastly, the last thing is, if you really need support, get the help from someone of an energy supporter to help you transmute them at a quantum level. So these are, some of the things that you can think about while we're still within this full moon energy. But it can also be at any time. It could be for the next full moon cycle as well, to keep in mind, to also work on these releasing of these patterns as they come up, because there are many layers, of course, that do arise, that have been buried within us at a subconscious level, penetrating ourselves from these past lives and from our ancestors as well, ancestral, passing down through our family lineage. And there's definitely has been a lot of ancestral healing, and I've seen this not only within my family but also in other family nucleus of people that I've interacted with, and they're also having a similar situation where there's stuff coming up with their family, and it just seems to be intensifying even more. And that's because there is a rise for more ancestral healing in the world at a collective level and within us, because a lot of things do start within us in the healing process. And the minute that we really take an action and be proactive to be able to make a difference within ourselves, we're also impacting all those around us and others, our family, as well as our community, and all those who come near us, our friends as well. Because at a soul level, we're also interconnected. And so all the work that we do now will definitely benefit all the generations to come, and the collectiveness that we are ascending into, of this unity consciousness, of this coming together community. And society itself is changing in that way, because that is the way the age of Aquarius is pushing us towards that energy. And as such, there's been so much of this old energy of the patriarch energy, the negative dark forces, that are becoming resistant, that is, to the change. So there is a bit of the theme of the Saturn versus Uranus as well, the two planets that has been the theme for this year, as many astrologers would say. And in this month of June, we had them very crossed and peaked at very specific day of June 14th. And I do feel that Cancer and Capricorn has a bit of those energies as well, where they kind of clash into each other. And so there is a bit of that resistance of the old structure with the new structure, as we're trying to build the new structures for the new earth. But there is a bit of fear and frustration on letting go of the old structures. But our time is now. Our time is for us to really start shifting into that new way of thinking, the new mindset, the new structures, and building a world that is more harmonious and joyful. And definitely don't want to live in a world of drama and of fear and worry, because that is not the way to ascend. So definitely not, working more with the creative energy rather than the victim energy. And we are being emphasized on this point, which is why there's so much of the emotions that are coming up, as well as a lot of the family issues that are coming up, because it is time for really for us to really step into our own power and use our own creative power to learn how to navigate around certain situations and balance ourselves. And it's not about somebody coming to rescue us. It's really, we are the ones rescuing ourselves. We are the saviors of our own self. And that is key to really understand and know that. And I do speak from experience, because of having gone through this super intense dark night of the soul that I had right after the divorce, which triggered, so much things that led me into really being determined, persistent, also to really work with all these patterns inside of me, karmic and ancestral, everything that I could think of at a cell level. And I was just so determined to it. And I wanted to just confront myself at a much deeper level and really say, where was all this coming from? Where is all this coming? And I no longer want to serve any of these patterns. And I just want to fully release them and dissolve them. And so I would use that energy of the full moon as well to really take advantage of that energy. So I really want to emphasize this point, that the minute that you really step into your own creative force power, rather than sitting back and saying that you have no choice, or that you feel sorry for someone or situation, or you feel bad or guilty, that's also putting you in this victim energy. It's really grabbing it and taking the action and being determined. And I'm getting this visual image right now as I'm speaking to you of Joan of Arc. And Joan of Arc wishes to emphasize this point, that we are warriors of the light ourselves. We have this warrior essence in us, this determination to be able to fully break free from any situation, or relationship that's no longer serving us, that's toxic, we have this power within us, and we always find a way. There's always a way for things. That where there is a will, there's always a way. And so I just really want to emphasize that to you. Now, if you are really struggling with this and you really need the help and it all resonates with you, please connect with me. So I do have very unique energy codes to help transmute at a very accelerated quantum level all those karmic and ancestor patterns. It's the light language that is activated within me of the energy codes. That is one of my abilities, and I am so passionate about helping many people really break free from these patterns, because this is our time to really step fully into our own greatness and really serve our purpose on this earth and just be a life of joy and harmonious relationships. So reach out to me and I would love to connect with you. And I would love to hear comments below on how the full moon this week has been for you and what's been coming up for you, or anything you would love to share. And so if you're watching this on YouTube, because it's also going my YouTube video, please make sure to subscribe and click like, of course, if you resonate with it. So I look forward to connecting with you in the next Love Wisdom message. Sending you all so much love. Bye for now.